Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of War. So yeah, you're joining... Sorry, excuse me. You're joining me on a very cold and wet and horrible British morning. So I've decided to carry on playing Out of War and decided to give myself a bit more immersion, turned the graphics up a little, turned on the day-night. So we can test out some of these lights on these vehicles. So I've got a lighting bar rigged up on this loader for front and back work. I don't know if there's any side-facing stuff. I'll have to have a look. So yeah, we'll see how this does. See what it does to my frame rate. But, it's all running pretty smooth at the moment. The frame rate thing has improved. I will say that in this version. It's very nice indeed. I'm also testing out capturing a slightly higher definition. So the videos may be shorter to sort of balance up the upload times. So I'm going to try and aim for an average of a half-hour video. I think it's a happy medium between what everybody likes. Some people like shorter, some people like longer. This is one of the reasons why I've been asking all of my viewers and subscribers for their feedback. Is just trying to get a feel for YouTube and what people like, really, because I haven't got a clue. I'm really quite inexperienced when it comes to social stuff. For a couple of reasons. One of them being, you know, the COVID crisis and everything. The second one being I really did stick my head into going self-employed and didn't come out for a while. So yeah, really don't have much of a feel for community and stuff. But thanks for everybody who has given me some feedback, all my viewers and subscribers. Clicking the subscribe button is a terrible bad thing for me. I'm really bad at it. Like I watch channels and I don't subscribe and everything. But so a big thank you to all the people who have, and for taking the time to give me advice and feedback on everything, because you're helping to build a better person, and that's great. It really is. So yeah, moving on to the game. I've been working away all night. Managed to bust out of the financial independence trap, shall we say, and I've just been loading up these machines a little for really after going to find a way to deactivate that mouse pointer that keeps on trying to mute me. So yeah, I filled up these machines in preparation for two things. I'm going to be doing road building over there where the roller is, down in that direction. I'm going to be getting over to that tower. Just scraped away that patch because it looked interesting, realistically. So I thought I'd load it into the machines and see where we got on, but just before I start running the machinery, this is sometimes why I load my machines without running them, is because I'm planning something else. I do a lot of planning. Very planning person. I enjoy a good plan. Don't get me wrong, life never goes to plan. But I do enjoy a good plan. Even if you're never going to do it, it's fun to plan it. You know, like planning a bank job, I guess. One of the reasons why I like the base jumping crew is the way they plan their jobs. You know, it's as they put it, it's like doing a bank job, but you're not stealing anything. Nobody else gets hurt, and you're not really doing any damage or harm. You're just trespassing up a building, breaking in, as it were, so that you can jump off of it. Always makes me laugh, some of the experiences you see from those guys. There's a chap called Jeb Corliss. I might start leaving links to some of the videos I watch on YouTube in my Discord, so you guys can see what kind of madman I am. But yeah, he was saying about a jump he did off of the Eiffel Tower, and you know, the cops showed up to bust him, obviously, and he sort of arrived on the ground. The gendarme's been basically in front of where he's landed, and she's just stood there, and she's walked over to him to arrest him, and she said, "Excuse me, sir." And he's sort of yelled, "I'm alive," and given her a hug because he's well happy because he survived what was actually a very dangerous jump. And she said, yes, and now you're going to jail. And he's sort of yelling, I don't care, and just hugging her. Just, yeah, what do you do? What do you do with someone like that? They've just done a crime, effectively, and you've got to arrest them, and they're hugging you. This is a bit of a confusing situation. But it turns out France has no laws against base jumping, but they do have laws against trespass and reckless endangerment. So that's the trick to these extreme sports. And I think the trick to YouTube is you got to have fun, but no reckless endangerment. So I can't even see how much cash I've got, so I'm just going to get these transports now. Mr. JP is going a little bonkers this morning. We've won the fight for financial independence. I've got a mill sat there, so I'm going to need some of these anyway. I'm just going to bankrupt myself, I think, for the moment. There we go. Maybe not bankrupt, but definitely going to extend. Oh, yeah, check. Whenever you're down here in the shop, always check the prices for stuff you're going to use later and stockpile. Because Dreamite at 5,600 a stick is not worth buying. 4,700 a stick is not worth buying. 1,300. 214 bucks a stick for Ampho. It'll come in useful later. I'm going to stockpile some of that. There we go. Yeah, I'm playing some fireworks. I like a bang. Terrible, terrible behaviour, but I do like a bang. So let's go over to that again. I've got the day-night setting switched on as well, so could be interesting. See what goes on. Might have to start parking vehicles as lights or fitting lights to things. See whether my machine melts down, as in my PC. So yeah, I'm going to go down here, have a little look-see, see what we've been up to here. Building the Pillar of Doom under the waste disposal. Can't reach that with that view. Try now. There we go. So look at the line that's going out along. Yeah, I like it. I think it should be good. So I'm going to extend this a little with these transports, and then each time it piles up to a height that I think is useful, I'll just remove one of the transports and make the pile a bit longer. And as you can see, I don't currently have a Grizzly conveyor, so these components will be useful later on. I can rip them out and reuse them for the Grizzly. If I go that way, currently by tipping in with the dump truck, it appears to be lagging the game less. I'm getting more mining time in. I managed to dig for 2 hours last night, so the game is definitely more stable than it was. Definitely more stable than it was. As negative as I ever get about games, understand that if I'm playing it, I am absolutely loving it. Like that there's no other way of putting it. Because I don't play games I don't love. That's that. So yeah, it's probably not exactly where I want my first pile, but I'll take it. Because I'm going to be bulldozing it backwards and down this hill anyway. But I want to hug the ridge line so that I end up over there under that seam. So yeah, I think we will put in a couple more bits. Might rebuild it a little further across from the start. We'll see. It really doesn't matter. Machine overhead's a lot lower now with the updates, so if you remember the days where you could put in a hopper and a sorting drum and it would cost you 100 grand a day before you turned it on, those days are gone, thank goodness. So yeah, I don't miss those days either, that's for sure. Right, so oh, it looks like yeah, it's getting darker. I've got the shadows turned off because I've got to be honest, I turned them up to medium, scared myself, didn't recognise the world, and went back to a shadowless world. I can handle a shadowless world. It's easier to see the seams, I'm going to be honest. Right then, so machines are running. Let's jump on this machine. get some more of the rich stuff with only 700,000 left of my 1.4 mil. So yeah, machine work can get expensive. Doesn't take long to wipe out a couple of mil when you're building a new processor. So always budget accordingly. Always budget accordingly, depending on the size of your build, because you can get by with something very simple. See what using lights does to the performance of my PC in a minute. Due to the fact that it's cold, damp and raining and the heating's not on, any heat my graphics card starts chucking out is well received. Sat here in a jacket. If it wasn't raining, I'd go out and play with some firewood to get warm, but not by setting fire to it, but by carrying it around and moving it. It's a constant thing. Wood burners are great, but you have to feed them. And they're like bulldozers. Drink fuel, or should, judging by what one of my subscribers told me about agricultural machinery and stuff. So yeah, they are thirsty beasts apparently. Glad I'm not paying the fuel bill for one of them. Woof. Over. Well, don't know. Sometimes I wonder about one of my vehicles. It does drink when you use it. Depends how you drive it, of course. If you sit there and poodle around at 1,000 revs, it's alright. If you start going up the rev line to 3,000 because you're pushing it, yeah, it tends to drink quite quickly. That's a big engine for you. You can have it lumping along nice and easy and just constantly using pretty regular amount of fuel, or you can stick your toe down and watch your needle move. Ugh. Nothing compared to a Boeing though. So always makes me laugh to see these environmental activists going on about like saving the world and everything, and then getting on planes. It's like, well, guys, you just use more fuel than me in a year. Good fun. Gotta love them. Like that. Like that. Right. Then have a little look-see. And yeah, the stuff that's coming out of this is so poor that the dirt that I'm processing, I could literally just throw it at the road surface. It wouldn't matter. But yeah, these faster trucks and gearboxes have just made all of my road building well worthwhile. I thought it was a pointless thing to do, but so much nicer to run on a smooth road now, especially with the roller. It's brilliant. It's pretty good. So yeah, I'm planning a grizzly belt that goes in here, and I'm actually going to go around the back of the helipad. I think on this one, just because I've never been round that way with the grizzly. I could come out and forward and over the top again, but it would make the output channel too high. I want it sort of at the height that one's at now. So yeah, see how we get on. See how this goes. Check that's down properly. There we go. You see what I mean about this stuff's really poor. I mean, those machines have been running for a while and there's not much coming out. Let's put it like that. But it is just topsoil, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't really been worrying when the loader fills up, is because it's worth about £4 a load if I don't mix any lithium into it. So yeah, and I've just been extracting the lithium quite happily, scraping away from the top here. Everything I've extracted from this hole has earned me about 5 or 6 mil, I think, in total. So it's doing pretty well. Because it's not that big a hole. So you really don't have to go far to make a load of money in this game. Turn on some lights. See how we get on. No sound of fans anymore. Interesting. So when I first played this game, I turned off all of the day-night settings because the lights were eating FPS. Or at least making the fans on my machine go at 100 miles an hour, whichever way you look at it. But things are a little better now, unless I've burnt out a fan, of course, and it's not running. Find out about that in a minute. We get a crash. Getting a little bit of frame rate drop from driving around from the lighting and shadowing, but not much. So they appear to have improved. I've heard the auto lights load up your system a bit if you've got a lot of them. So I think I'm going to keep mine mounted on vehicles for the moment. Probably wondering why I've got more lights at the back than the front, but it's because in a loader you spend half your time going backwards. A bit later on today I'll be showing how you can use GPS with the dumper truck for scouting and building roads up to roughly the right height, so that you can build level roads like I have over there without using the tile method, really. A few things like that. I'll be dreamlighting above this and ripping out a new seam where the dozer is up on the hill there, just in the background. Because it's not far from here. I'm hoping I'll be able to get the material from up there down to these machines, which will be pretty cool. So yeah, there might be a combo chain of equipment to get it down here. But, we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking that one through as we speak. Liking the way the sun goes down now. It used to be a bit rapid, but now it's got a bit of creep to it. Like it. You can sleep overnight as well if you don't like mining at night, but you like the immersion of a day-night cycle. Personally, my mine operates 24/7. That's the way it is. I'm getting a bit of frame rate drop now. It's to be expected 15 to 20 minutes in. That's the way the game's working at the moment. It's kind of healthy. It means you take your half-hour breaks like a good boy. Save you get an eye strain, but in my case it means that I tend to drink coffee and do bad things like smoke. Don't ever be a smoker, people. Don't even vape. In fact, vaping's more dangerous. Vaping's killed more of my friends already than smoking in my life, and I'm reaching that age where it kills you, judging by my own experience. So yeah, don't know which is harder to quit. One of my subscribers commented about caffeine being the hardest. I think you're right, especially when you can't swap it for like cup of soups or Bovril or hot chocolate or anything. It's really difficult. So yeah, I'm gonna find another drink. You might have a grumpy JP on your hands if I switch to cup of soups and it turns out the vegetables in them are bad. But I'm working on the theory that coffee straight from the bean makes me ill as hell with migraines and headaches, but the freeze-dried stuff doesn't. So I'm going to try freeze-dried soup in the hope that it might have destroyed all the salicylates that make me ill. It's full on hope, but I used to drink a lot of them and I don't remember any particular reaction to them. But sort of when you're facing off against evil migraines for trying out different foods, it makes you think twice. Trust me, it makes you think twice. Ooh. Okay, that was abrupt. Oh, it's changed a little bit from the last time I messed with it. But I do like these extra lights on the vehicles. They're going to make working underground a bit easier. Frame rate's not suffering too badly, so that's a good sign. Good sign. Wondering whether prioritising this game in the task manager might help, or some kind of Windows settings. If anyone's find that kind of thing helps, let me know in the comments. That'd be great. Ways to optimise your machine for this kind of gaming. So as I say, I'm an electronics engineer, but not that kind of electronics engineer. I'm better at like retuning factories and making things more efficient on the electrical side than I am sort of software and computing. They're two different fields, two different ways of thinking. The technological stuff I have messed with is all fairly solid state. Doesn't really do much in the flexibility realm. Yeah, we're suffering a little bit of lag there, but nothing major. So that's all to the good. Park that up. Ooh, park it up without the lights on. Otherwise, luckily this isn't other mining games where you park up, leave your lights on, come back and you've got to change the battery. Which is kind of nice, kind of like that. This one's got a light bar on it, but doesn't appear to be all that effective. Okay. This might be a vehicle that needs a light on the back of it. Yeah. I do like it. At the same time, I do hear my fans whirring away a bit harder. I'll come to a decision. But just for a change, I like it. I do like it. It's missing in the railroading game I play. There is no day-night. It's quite funny because they've got lanterns on all the trains, and there's no night. So that's kind of ironic. But yeah. Bit of a strange one, really. I assume they're planning a day-night cycle later. So yeah, I would quite like a light on the back of that dumper, I think. But it's nice you can leave the lights on the vehicles, because you can have a parked vehicle with its lights on to illuminate an area. And they do illuminate areas. Wow. If I had the shadows turned on, there'd be a big bucket shadow ahead of us, but luckily, as I say, I'm an 80s gamer, I don't need it all to be so super realistic, but I do like the way those lights look on this. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, and probably going to be very handy when I head in underground, I'd thought. So, yeah. I can play like this for the moment. If it starts to affect FPS and game time, and yeah, I'll probably turn it off again. Or if it gets annoying, of course. It's the joy of a simulated world, you can change everything. I love sandbox games for that reason. Just the eminent retunability does satisfy my customization urge for my gaming. I'm sorry if I get carried away sometimes. I do feel very passionately about gaming. I feel that simulated environments like this are the future for humans to get out and about, because the world's becoming a more and more explored and urbanised and built up place, and so eventually if you want to walk out somewhere and where there's nothing, you might have to do it in a digital environment, or go to the moon, one of the two. I can't believe that it's been so long since we walked on the moon and we don't even have some kind of international space station habitation system on there to test living in space. It's just unreal. Can't believe that NASA banned people from getting within 2 kilometers of the original lunar landing sites as well, and that includes overflight. So the idea of getting high definition pictures of the state of the place now, maybe NASA don't want pictures of the state of the place after the thing launched and blew shrapnel from the Eagle all over the area, wrecked everything or something. Just don't know. You just don't know what's up there. That's why I'm disappointed that when someone offered a large cash prize to be the first people to get back to the lunar landing sites, sort of thing, NASA took out legal things to stop them. This is why conspiracy theories exist, people. So yeah, and people say, "Oh no, that never happened." You know, it's a conspiracy theory. Just remember, it was a conspiracy theory that they were faking the emissions things until it happened. So yeah, I just don't know anymore. It's a big scary world, big scary internet. Everything's pretty big and scary these days, to be honest. Like, I can see why a lot of people don't. I mean, I don't really keep an eye on the news or the media or anything these days. I'm done. Just talk about total head in the sand. Yeah, but we're still getting a good frame rate at the Grizzly, so we can carry on playing a bit longer, which is nice. As I say, the game is more stable, things are improving, and at a pace that I find awesome. Developers doing really well at this. really, really well. So yeah, that tip out has nearly done its job, so I'll just pull up here for a sec and switch that to the right. Like so. Now I'll build another pile just to one side of it. And the whole point of that is I'm going to put a junction type flat spot there and start that road down that way. Decided it's easier to push mud downhill than uphill. Might get a second dozer to avoid having to drive the dozer around, but I'll see how that goes. All of this might get rebuilt, but it's working quite well actually. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, kind of dark without any lights running around. At the same time I like it, kind of like it. A bit more immersive, a bit more real for those who are reality players, I guess. A lot of my computer gaming is escapism, so I'm not sure I necessarily need real to be real. I've played some zombie survival games. There's a big one out there. It started off as a mod for Arma 3. We all know it. That's too real. It's crazy. Like a friend of mine's playing Arma at the moment, and I'd love to get into it, but he's talking about like the civilians living in the maps and stuff, and you get penalised for killing them and that kind of thing. It's like, oh, this sounds like it's moved on a bit beyond where Mr. JP can enjoy himself. Sounds like it's a bit serious now. At the same time, the idea of dropping an airstrike into a civilian enclosure or going past and deploying a piece of ordnance that's rather large into a building and, you know, pancaking it. Considering what I used to do, yeah, it does appeal, don't get me wrong, especially because it's kind of harmless. But I'm kind of fascinated. I sort of, if I do manage to stay away from smoking and I've got more time, I might get immersive and play a game like that, and the idea of running around as a civvy in a war zone like that, trying to cause trouble for the teams that are shooting at each other, because I've heard some of them are guerrilla terrorists and stuff. It sounds like it could get quite amusing. But I've got other games to play. The same friend who's doing that bought me a game that I really have to look into, but it's top-down combat simulation. I'm not sure how I'm going to react to that. I haven't played them in a long time. And I do want to play some Space Engineers, and I want to play some Railroads, and I want to play some 7 Days. So, unfortunately, it's a little bit down the list. But I will get there. I will get there. It's the unfortunate thing when you start playing a game like this that's in development and it's really good, you tend to get glued to it, which is why problems in development can actually cause quite a bit of ruckus sometimes. As well as changes in the game. People get attached to them. But advertising that you have a Discord in your game's opening screen when you don't, which is a failure of another development game that I've mentioned before, and will feature in my first video as a comment about it, because it's a bit of a joke. How you're meant to run a railroad when you can't take down a sign when a service is no longer available. Things may have changed. I ran the game the other day, and I think that sign was still there. But someone might have pointed out that, hey, you know, you're advertising something that isn't there. Which for the older players isn't a problem, but for the newer players, it's a bit crummy. You know, they go to look. They bought this new game, they're having a struggle, they go to look for the resource that's meant to help them and it's been deleted. I mean, that's just bad karma, you know, that's not good self-promotion. As I said in my review, the developer has shot himself in the head by deleting his Discord. He shouldn't have deleted it, he should have frozen the chat rooms because they were the place where the contention was and left the advice sections instead of a total wipe. But I think because the advice sections had been contributed to people that he'd kind of banned from development of the game who were volunteers, and there'd been a big falling out, it was a bit of a problem for them. As I said, it was how not to run a railroad. But Christian's doing a much better job with that 4. It's lovely, it really is. Really loving playing it. So I'm going to continue expanding this and continue ripping out this lithium for a bit more today. Probably going to get down with a bit of Dreamite later on. See if I can install some bulldozer hopper up there and see what we get to. Also going to, as I say, be building that road down the back there and having a bit of a giggle really with some of the game. So that's going to be fun. Let's get one more load of lithium, we'll finish on a high, see how much cash we can make. It doesn't take long once you're into a lithium seam that's a reasonable size. In the small ones you spend more time going down, like in the opening game I got down to sort of the valley height in the tutorial lithium seam. I just wasn't getting much out of it at all for the amount of material that was coming out. With different digging methods of the bulking now, it probably is effective because I barely scratched the surface and got a mill out of it. So yeah, the game's changing, got to change how you play. I'm hoping it'll carry on because watching this develop's been real fun so far. And yeah, so look after yourselves out there everybody. Those of you in the UK, it's been frozen, it's now raining. Today and this evening are going to be dangerous as hell out there, so be careful and look after yourselves. Good luck in your mines, and this is Mr. JP clocking off for the moment. Catch you later on.